Hi everybody, I hope you're doing marvelously well. I hope you're staying safe, happy and healthy. Now, this mix that I'm going to be working on here is one that we've been streaming live. We've already done it once already, and we're going to stream it a couple more days and finish it up. You can download the multi-tracks here and join in with me. So you can win one of 3 copies of this lovely plugin. There is a link down below. Please click on it to enter to win. Now, I'm in the middle of the mix. But what I thought I would do is I would do a demonstration of the Gullfoss plugin by Soundtheory. And we've talked about this before, and we've used it in individual elements to solve problems. And that is the way I like to mix. As you know, I'm not a stuff it all on the master bus, fix all the problems. I think there are times when you could use a great plugin like Gullfoss on the master bus to solve, little issues. But one of the things that I think is really good about it, and probably not something that's been talked about enough, is the fact that you can use it to discover issues. So we're going to use Gullfoss by Soundtheory as an analysis tool. This will help us create a better mix. Now, I'm in the middle of this mix, so I know it's a little muddy. I know there's still more work to do. But I'm going to use this tool to help illustrate where I'm going to focus in on. So the idea is to use things that I'm learning from looking at the Gullfoss EQ curves. So we can open up the plugin on the master bus and start seeing what the Gullfoss is doing to solve the issues. What is it doing? Not only looking, but listening. What's it brightening up? What's being affected? How can I make my mix more exciting? So this process will be super helpful in making this feel more transparent, more open, because it is thick and muddy at the moment. Let's give it a listen. It's stodgy. There's a kind of a build-up of low mids. There's a lot of low end. The kick is absolutely massive. The drums are super big and boomy. Not necessarily in a terrible way, but it's just everything feels like that. So if I solo the drums, for instance, it's good. I want a bit more bite on the snare. The kick feels absolutely massive. It needs to shave out some 80 to 100. I can hear all these things. It's getting in the way of the bass. If I put the bass in with the drums, it's going to start to sound really stodgy. And, guitars are similar. Thick sounding. It's like I don't mind those low mids and everything, but it's sort of a combination of a little bit too much low mids and not enough high mids and high end to really make this mix come alive. So that's what my ears are telling me. Let's take the Gullfoss and play with it. So I'm not going to use any of the tools on the right-hand side, these fall here. I'm just going to use the recovery. Listen to this as we turn this up. So it's telling us the same story, exactly what I'm talking about. You can see the amount of boost that's going on in the high mids. Listen with your ears. You can hear what it's doing and how it's improving it, but see what it's doing. See the amount of low-end cut it's doing. What I find interesting in the beginning when you hear the hat playing, it's quite interesting. It's actually cutting that. It's thinking, oh, that's super bright. So it's confirming what my ears were hearing, and it's a visual tool. It's saying to me that snare needs to be brighter, guitars need to be brighter. There's a constant boost going on, 2.5 up, like a lot of boost coming on and just going, oh, that needs to be better. So I'm going to bypass the plugin for a second, and we'll just get rid of it here for 1 second. And let's go in and just do some obvious things. We'll take the drums. What I'm going to do is I'm going to open up the plugin and just listen to those elements on their own. So I feel like it's telling me the hi-hat's just a little bit too loud, too bright, too loud. So let's bring that hat down. So it came down a couple of dB. I'm not going to do anything else to it at the moment. The snare bus has got a bit of top end boost on it. Let's go a little crazier. Why the heck not? Because we're in Pro Tools, I'm not sure what your DAW is, but if I hit this little button up here, it will keep the plugin open. So I grabbed a Waves REQ here, and I'm just going to boost the high mids and the high end on this. Back in the track. It's in bypass, listen to the whole thing. Immediately in this high mid here where the Gullfoss plugin was boosting like crazy, it's no longer doing it. Now it's just trying to grab this 9, 10, 11, 12K area. The snare drum makes a huge difference making it brighter. Now it's almost too bright. It's still grabbing that low end really dramatically. So let's look at the kick. Both the kick elements are subbed together here. The Sheps has got that huge +4 thump on it. I'm going to make it +2, so it's not quite so massive. And then I'm going to grab an REQ here and just go in there and, high pass at about 27 here. We can make it gentle. And then I'm going to go at about 100-ish, 90 to 100, and cut like that, narrow the Q a bit, cut that, so let the bass breathe a little bit. I can actually turn up the kick drum now and make it thump more, but not be in the way of the bass guitar quite so much. It's having some fun in the mid-range, but let's not worry about that because that's where the guitar should be living. So just on bass and drums, it's not doing as much work as it was before. When I put it on, it's maybe a little overly bright because I got the recovery super, super high, but it's telling me and it's reinforcing what I'm hearing that I need some more ultra brightness on that. I just need to get, the snare's got it on, but let's give ourselves an overall drum mix. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take all the drums, create a separate bus of all of them, and I'm just going to grab an REQ again. And we'll give it a listen, obviously, but ultimately I'm just going to go into this like 8, 9, 10 area. So let's go in here at about 350 and pull out some more low mids. We can narrow that a little bit. It's getting really, really close now. There's some low mids taken out of the snare, which I kind of like. It's a tough one. I'll take the little bit of the boost down on the snare there. And I'll also high pass it, I say out to about 80, 90, 95, say. See, now I'm starting to hear more of the high mids in the guitars that I want to get a little bit brighter. So there on this guitar, I've actually boosted it quite dramatically, but I'm going to open up the high end a bit more than I did before. Let's copy that EQ down onto the other guitar. It's really interesting. You can do all kinds of things with this as a tool in the plugin to do an overall thing. But what I'm mainly enjoying about it is just using the recovery and using everything flat and seeing what it gives me. I'm using this really as a tool to just correct. Now with all these synths, there's this big low mid build up and low end build up. It's interesting, without me forcing it to do, correction and just read what it would be like just reading it flat, it's really starting to get super, super close. So listen to the piano. Let's get rid of some of that low, so I'm going to grab an EQ. I'll probably need at least 3 or 4 bands, so here we go. Don't need that low end. There's enough low end in this mix as it is. It's all mid-range at the moment, so let's get some high end. Cool, throw in the synth. It's pretty nice. Let's pull out some of that low mids. Going to grab Gullfoss, keep it open, turn on that button on the right-hand side so it stays open on the screen no matter what other plugins I open. There's some low rumble going on in that synth that just does not need to be there. Cool. Let's throw back our guitars and our drums. Even with this recovery at 131% now, it's minor amounts. It's a dB or two, and it could be argued, you know. And then, you know, if you want to use the Gullfoss plugin to then sweeten it a little bit after that, but ultimately, it's pretty tasty what it's doing. There's definitely some air still coming out. Let's roll with the punches. We have an octave on that. There's a bit of crush station on that. A new Eventide plugin, which we love. There is the Brainworks going on in here. So we can brighten this up a bit more. Let's roll with the punches. Try in the track now. So we got like another 3 dB at 10K. Let's roll with the punches. It's interesting, there's no ambience going on in our song at the moment. There's no reverbs, there's nothing. All we've got is the reverb on the snare. So I feel like a lot of this air that we want, you know, on the mix can be provided by a vocal reverb. So, you know, where you see the Gullfoss is wanting us to kind of get a little bit more air over it. So let's get a stereo auxiliary. Let's grab an R-verb, something pretty straightforward because I can shape the EQ really easily here. So I can just open it up. Quite heavily like this. Let's roll with the punches. We were somewhere else, we know we go there. Let's roll with the punches. We were somewhere else, we know we go there. Let's roll with the punches. We were somewhere else, we know we go there. Let's roll with the punches. We were somewhere else. Let's roll with the punches. We were somewhere else. That crush station is adding an octave. It's insane how good it is. Let's roll with the punches. We were somewhere else. We'd all be go there. Let's roll with the punches. We were somewhere else. We'd all be go there. Let's roll with the punches. We were somewhere else, we'd all be go there. Let's roll with the punches. We were somewhere else, we'd all be go there. Great, I'm adding some crazy mid-range back into that vocal. Let's roll with the punches. We were somewhere else, we'd all be go there. Let's roll with the punches. We were somewhere else, we'd all be go there. There you go. We can get those overheads to open up as well. You know, so it still wants to hear some air. It's getting bright overall, but I think it's getting a little indiscriminate. So I'm just going to open up the overheads here quite dramatically. But I'm also going to come in at about 350-ish and pull out those low mids. And then, honestly, just get rid of some of the low end. There you go. As before. Those are quite dark overheads. Interesting how much high end and bite I have to put into that. It's probably a little bit too much in solo, but at the end of the day, it's what it sounds like inside of the mix. Nah, it's too much on those cymbals. You see what happens there. So now it's telling us this area here between 5 and 9K is being annihilated. And of course it is by that symbol. So we could do a couple of things. We could take down that boost in that area. What I'll probably do is go in and grab a de-esser. Still a little bit of a low mid build up going on, just a bit. Getting a little stodgy in those guitars there, isn't it? So let's change that out to a 6-band EQ. See if we can pull out some 220. I like 220 on guitars, or 260, but maybe it's a bit too much. Narrow that Q a little bit. I mean, it immediately sounds better in solo, so it sounds like in the track. I'm really enjoying it, but when I bring the plugin in, the Gullfoss in, it's still just creating a little bit more detail. Still generally a low-mid build-up going on, just a shade. And I just want to find those areas. If I solo the bass for a second, let's have a quick listen to that. So the thing is, normally, I don't have a problem with the bass doing that. So I'm just going searching, not hearing too much of a problem there. Bit more attack on the kick there, I think is nice. The multi-band kick on that. Not much build-up going on there in the kick drum. I think we can cut some more 350, but it's pretty cut. So let's turn that to an REQ 6 and see if we can cut a little bit more low mids in that area. Starting to sound pretty darn good. The thing that the Gullfoss is doing is it's revealing a little bit more openness, a little bit more cutting. So I'm going in there and challenging myself to pull out some stuff. Hardly getting any of that cut that we were getting before. Little bit of this kind of 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 kind of like air being added. Now we put a little bit more on the vocal. Maybe we can put a shade more. You know, we got 7 there, maybe a bit there, maybe a bit less of the 10. What do we have on this synth? Copy this down. Now we're talking. Okay, so I just put it into bypass. Have a listen.
Let's roll with the project. We were somewhere else, we know we go there. Let's roll with the project. We were somewhere else, we know we go there.
So I feel like there, you know, it's just dancing around. I'm not looking for a plugin to solve like and make everything super even, but I'm looking for a plugin that's helping me solve issues. So now with that, in mute, I'm going to listen from El Topo.
I can be your undercover lover. I can be whatever gets you through. I can be a superhero, deflecting all the things that they may say to you. And if you leave before the morning, just leave a note beside my bed. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Let's roll with the punches. We were somewhere else, we'd all be golden. Let's roll with the punches. We were somewhere else, we'd all be golden. We'd all be golden. We'd all be golden.
All right, cue part where we started off. Eric will now play that part back.
Let's roll with the punches. We were somewhere else, we'd all be golden. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Let's roll with the punches. We were somewhere else, we'd all be golden.
In about half an hour, we've completely transformed this mix that was, yes, it was a mix in progress, but it allowed me to focus in on areas where I was seeing huge cuts and huge boosts and just even them out. I was going in where I was seeing areas that were dipping all the time, and that low mid build up seemed to be on everything. And just getting in and finding where the worst scenario was. I liked listening to the drums and the bass together. I think that was really rewarding. But ultimately, listening to the whole mix was really, really good. I'm not a big fan of putting a plugin on a master bus to make it sound better. It doesn't make any sense to me. The plugin there, and what we're doing with the Gullfoss there, is allowing it to teach us where the other parts are. So thank you ever so much. Please enter to win one of 3 copies. If you do this same process, give us an idea of it. What tips and techniques do you have to improve your mix? How are you listening to areas of your mix to improve them? Please leave a bunch of comments and questions below, and I'll see you all again very, very soon.